Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. As promised, we're taking a look at my updated Cowboys roster projection before the final preseason game for the Cowboys. They haven't yet, and don't have to for several more days, made any final decisions yet with where they sit. Now, I wonder how much true competition there is with the way they've been deployed so far in the preseason and training camp. But I am hopeful that several of these end up being wrong, because there are other guys I'd frankly rather keep that I'm not convinced the Cowboys feel the same way. Let's dive into the quarterback spot. 2 locks, and we'll go lock, bubble, safe for all these guys that we'll discuss today. Dak Prescott, Joe Milton are making this team. Will Grier might not. The poor preseason performance so far from Will Grier makes me think that it's a little bit more likely that Will Grier has a chance to make it. He kind of doesn't control his destiny. Joe Milton plays well in the final preseason game. Maybe he's on the practice squad. Vested veteran, does not go through waivers. If Milton struggles, maybe they keep him. So that's a bubble spot, which does cost somebody else their spot on the 53. We'll go to running backs next. But first, coming up soon on the Cowboys Report, Cowboys vs. Falcons watch party. We will have a post-game instant reaction for you right here on the channel. Week 3 winners and losers after the Friday game. A final roster projection as well after the game, but before roster cuts on Tuesday. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Let's go to running back. I think there are 3 locks. Javonte Williams, Jaydon Blue, Hunter Luepke. And barring injuries in the final preseason game, those 3 guys are going to make it. I think there's a chance that it's only those 3 guys who make it at the running back spot. I think there is a chance the Cowboys add 1, maybe 2 more, but I would lean towards one of these guys being able to make it. And there's a good conversation to have over which one it is. Miles Sanders has been more productive over the course of his career. He's actually done it before. Deuce Vaughn, though, actually helps you on special teams in a way that these other guys actually don't help you on special teams. Phil Maffa got a little bit of run in one game, but didn't look that particularly great. Maybe that helps him in the end. Miles Sanders doesn't play special teams. Deuce Vaughn has been out there with earlier units on the special team side. For now, I think that gives him the advantage, but I would like it if Miles Sanders or Phil Maffa played better in the 3rd and final preseason game, because I think they offer you a little bit more / something different, because I think the Jaydon Blue role kind of eats into the Deuce Vaughn role. Who is your RB3? Again, as a Deuce Vaughn Small King guy, I kind of hope it's not him. I hope Phil Maffa plays out of his mind. But DV for Deuce Vaughn, MS for Miles Sanders, who could also get down to the practice squad, PM for Phil Maffa. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's go to wide receiver. So the locks are CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and KaVontae Turpin. I think Jalen Tolbert is safe. A potential trade, if you could get a good piece back or noteworthy piece back, is the exception to this conversation. Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flournoy are both on the bubble. I think that Jonathan Mingo beginning the year on IR does create a roster spot, at least for the time being, for one of Flournoy or Brooks. Brooks still, I think, has more special teams value from the Cowboys' perspective, but Mingo being on IR doesn't count in the 53. They might have to do the initial day of gaming the system to get the guys to IR, because you only could put 2 guys on IR to begin the season without having to carry them through waivers and all that nonsense. But I think Mingo being down makes room for both Brooks and Flournoy. We'll talk about Holden later on. Let's go to the tight end room. And I'm going to put Jake Ferguson as a lock. I waffle between Schoonmaker and Brevin Spann-Ford as safe. The only reason I didn't is because they've been banged up recently, and that could lead to something different. Princeton Fant, by the way, ended up being the final guy I cut from this 53-man projection. Cowboys have liked taking 4 tight ends before, but they've been giving Hunter Luepke tight end reps, so I'm not convinced they need to carry 4 this time around. Today's NFL Daily is made possible by Ethos, the father of one kid and a second one on the way. Trust me when I say life insurance matters. It's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry, and it's more affordable than you might think. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions in as little as 10 minutes and get a quote. With 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get that free quote over at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's go to the offensive line. The locks are Tyler Guyton, assuming he's healthy for week 1. I project he will be. Tyler Smith, or at least not for week 4 to go on IR. Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele. I think Nathan Thomas is on this team. I went kind of like left tackles and like the starters and backups there. So Austin Richards, I think, is on the bubble at left guard. I think he makes it, but that would fall into the surprise category. Brock Hoffman as the interior offensive line. I think he's a lock. TJ Bass, I lean towards being safe on the bubble. Robert Jones already being on IR, I think creates room for Bass to make it. Plus, they've given him some center run, which I think helps his versatility. Ajani Cornelius, I would actually argue should be a lock, but they'd be going very young along the offensive line, so I do want to acknowledge the possibility Hakeem Adeniji ends up being a piece there instead. Let's go to the edge room. Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler, Marshawn Nealon, Donovan Ezeraku. They are locks for obvious reasons. I would be surprised if they moved on from Sam Williams. You would free up a roster spot. Maybe there's some trade value there, but I think he's more safe than anything else and closer to lock than even really being on the bubble. I think the trade is the only long shot scenario worth discussing there. I want to carry 6 edges because I think the talent makes it worthwhile. I don't know if the Cowboys will actually keep James Houston. That's one of the ones I was least confident in. There's 3 guys in consideration here. If you even carry 6, they might only carry 5. James Houston, who has been the better pass rusher. Tyrus Wheat offers you some good stuff on special teams. Peyton Turner offers you a bigger body and also got more money than essentially both those guys combined. So pick one of those 3 players to keep if you're keeping one at that extra 6th edge spot. JH for James Houston, TW for Tyrus Wheat, PT for Peyton Turner. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Defensive line time now. Osa Odighizuwa is a lock. Solomon Thomas is a lock. After that, I don't know. I think Mod Smith is safe just because who else are you going to carry? He is continuing to work with the first team. I know some beat reporters have mentioned it. I'm going to put him in the safe category. That 4th defensive tackle spot. Kind of wonder if you're better off taking 5, but I took 6 edges, so the math isn't mathing there. I think Perion Winfrey's been more impressive. And if this team really is committed to, like, F the one technique, F the fatties only mindset, Winfrey would fit better from Matt Eberflus's perspective. Is that what I would do? No, not really. But what I would do is actually probably outside the organization and go get a different defensive tackle to be my 4th guy. So what are you doing? PW for Perion Winfrey, JT for Jay Toia. We'll discuss practice squad stuff here, but Toia was a late 7th round pick who's been okay-ish in the preseason. I think he'd clear through waivers. I'd actually vote for a acquisition. Will the Cowboys do it? We'll see. Let's go to linebacker. DeMarvion Overshown is on IR, so he does not count in this category, but it made sense with the numbers. Jack Sanborn, Maurice Leafau, Shamar James. I don't think Kenneth Murray is going to get cut. It is possible. Same with Damone Clark, but Clark has actually played in the preseason, looked pretty good. These guys are all, those are your top 5. It's a question of, do you carry 6? Do you make room for a Justin Barron or something? I'm not so sure. Cornerback-wise, and I'll be honest, I really struggled here. Deron Bland's going to make it. Kyer Elam is a lock. I think Andrew Booth and Izzy Mukwamu are safe because Booth is in line to start on the outside if he had to right now. Plus, he had the cool pick 6. I think that helps him, which shows you how bad this cornerback room is. Israel Mukwamu right now can play safety. I think him being the number 2 nickel / number 3 nickel, number 3 / number 4 outside corner, and emergency safety. That makes him very valuable. In the end, I went with Keemon Hall over Zion Childress. That was a back and forth to me. I don't think they need both of them. I think there's a good chance both guys would probably find their way to clear waivers if they absolutely had to. Both guys have gotten decent amount of run on preseason special teams units. I think they put Hall out there Tuesday with the ones. We'll see if that changes on Wednesday. And if so, I might have to change my projection when we get to the actual game itself or to the final one. But Hall/Childress, I think, is a pretty good debate to have as to who the nickel extra guy is. To help with my numbers, because I kind of think that Kalen Carson could play week 1 or at least week 2. The Cowboys might try to be conservative and let's just put Kalen Carson on IR and be safe there. Diggs, Revel, Butler, I'm going to project as not ready, even though I would rather them be ready, or at least one of them be ready. But I'm kind of trying to game the system and get as many guys on the 53, so that meant I put Carson on IR to begin the season. In an ideal world, Trayvon Diggs is back for week 1, and I have to have that trickier complication to the roster, but he'd help you a lot. I'm not going to rule it out, but it's been pretty quiet since the last 2 weeks or so on that front, so I'm not as optimistic as I once was. Is Trayvon Diggs ready for week 1? Y for yes, N for no. Let's go to the safeties. I don't think there's much conversation to be had here. Malik Hooker's going to make it. Donovan Wilson's going to make it. Marquise Bell will make it. Wanye Thomas will make it. I don't think there's any conversation there. Or on the special team side, Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, and Trent Sig. Those guys are making the team. There might be a vested veteran like a Will Grier that you have to cut for a day and then bring back, but these last 7 spots are pretty obvious to me. Of the cuts I made, and the one that bothered me the most was probably the Phil Maffa, Jay Toia, Trayshawn Holden conversation. Which projected cut upsets you the most? Those last couple spots you're probably going to cut someone that you like. Let me know in the comments section of today's show which projected cut upset you the most. Some notable cuts who I didn't put on my practice squad projection we'll get to here in a second. Malik Davis, John Stevens Jr. has had some drops in camp. New regime. I think Peyton Turner would go find a new team. I think that would probably, if he doesn't make the roster, he'd probably go somewhere else. Same with a Darius Harris, Robert Rochelle, guys that are kind of banged up in Rochelle's case, but also they're kind of journeymen already as it is. All right, practice squad projection. Miles Sanders gets down there. I actually think because he's a vested veteran, you could probably guarantee him a practice squad spot. We'll give you a game day call up or something. I do think Phil Maffa would clear waivers. Now, if he balls out Friday, maybe I can change my mind. But outside of the Niners, everyone kind of has their backs. I don't think he would be one that gets claimed. I also definitely don't think Trayshawn Holden gets claimed. He got no guaranteed money. He's got 2 catches in the preseason. You can get him through waivers. Jalen Cropper, Princeton Fant, who has bounced around. He actually could be a sneaky claim just because he's done it in the NFL. Lyle Collins and Hakeem Adeniji are both vested veterans, so they go right on down. No have to go through waivers or anything on that front. You can guarantee them a spot, so to speak. Tommy Akinbasote, Jay Toia, they were draft picks. Always ones to monitor of hey, could they get claimed? Denzel Daxon, by the way, is an international player pathway program. You get a free one. So you get 17 players, not 16 for them. Tyrus Sweet, also a sneaky claim candidate because he's done special team stuff, and that might have value for somebody, and has had actually a decent preseason. Justin Barron, Buddy Johnson, extra linebackers who predominantly help on the special team side. Troy Pride, I think, would clear waivers pretty easily. Zion Childress and Elijah Clark have the threat of not. Because of the guaranteed money Elijah Clark got, he's been pretty quiet in the preseason. And because Childress has done some good things in the preseason. Goodwin, by the way, he'll be on the team in some capacity. I just hope it's the practice squad because I don't think I need to count him for an active roster spot at this moment.